YouTube, Rento96 here, and today I'm going to talk about The Walking Dead Episode 5, No Time Left. For those of you who don't know what The Walking Dead is, it's a game made by Telltales, and they made 5 episodes for the first season, and it is announced that they're making a second season, so that is brilliant. So, before I go any further, this video will contain spoilers for the people who haven't played episode 5 and want to find out the experience for themselves, to find out who dies in it and what will happen to Lee from his bite. So if you don't want any spoilers from episode 5, No Time Left, then click on something else now. Okie dokie. So, episode 5, No Time Left, takes place after episode 4, where Lee and the people who went with you were Omid, Krista, Kenny, or Ben if you saved them from episode 4. If they went with you, they go to Vernon's hideout, find out Vernon's missing, gone, empty. We hear some kind of walkie-talkie, and which Lee thinks it's Vernon that took her. Turns out it was the mysterious man on the walkie-talkie. So after that, it goes on to from Mr. Sky telling him to watch his tone, choose next words carefully, and goes to be continued. Then episode 5 takes place after that, and the choice that you make to say to the mysterious guy, such as "I'll kill you," "What do you want from me," or "Please don't hurt her," or just silent. The only two walkthroughs that I've seen was DSP Gaming and I think it's Sage Master 15. I've seen two of those walkthroughs because their endings and choices were completely different. The first walkthrough I watched was Sage Master 15, and his walkthrough was excellent. Give you a thumbs up for that. I liked it, subscribed it. DSP, I watched his game through. His was the same. His was a bit different from the beginning, because if you watch his walkthrough before on episode 4, he kills Ben. Sage Master doesn't. So, episode 5 starts off with Lee talking to the mysterious guy. If you've seen the Walking Dead wiki.
What? Just take for my hand. Martin?
Just close the door. That was my brother. With the mysterious guy, if you've seen the Walking Dead wiki, they pronounced him as the Campman, which, whatever that means. And it's basically him and Lee talking on him, why he's taking Clementine and all that. And then it interacts with walkers coming through the tunnel that they came in to get to Vernon's hideout. Kenny closes the door if he goes with you. I think it's Krista that closes the door. I don't know, I haven't seen it without Kenny. So once the door closes, you can move Lee and try and find a way to escape. You go upstairs where you find an elevator door, but it's shut, you can't get in, so you have to look for something to open the elevator door with. The only options is to check the cupboards, and in one of the cupboards you find like this, I think it's like a car wrench where you press up to keep the car up, but it's kind of like for surgery on bodies or something. I don't know, maybe you guys will know what it is when you see the walkthrough or play it. Anyway, Lee takes this item, he opens the elevator door a little bit, sticks the item, car, holding thing, whatever it is, and tries to open the elevator doors. While he's doing that, he gets a little bit dizzy from the bite from the walker. If you've seen episode 4, I'm pretty sure you all have. He gets bitten by a walker trying to find Clementine. Gets dizzy from the bite, passes out, and he wakes up with either Kenny or Krista going to cut off his arm. He wakes up and he starts freaking out. And this is the first decision that you make in the game, to whether cut off Lee's bitten arm or to leave it on. Now, Stage Master 15 chose to cut off Lee's infected arm, which I think it's just great, but I didn't see the trailer. Or my sister's mates. If you've seen the episode 5 trailer, you know that Lee has both his arms. So Stage Master chose to cut it off, which made it a little bit different from the trailer. The SP, however, chose to leave it on. I think the best walkthrough I've seen is Stage Master 15 from cut off arm, and plus he had saved Ben for himself 4. Anyway, let's just start on with the walkthrough. I think that episode 5 is amazing. I've lost one or two. Oh yeah. So when you choose to cut off Lee's arm or leave it on, if Lee chooses to cut off his arm, he passes out, and either Kenny or Krista opens the elevator door for him. If you choose to leave it on, Lee carries on opening the door. Then once the elevator door is open, they go through, which comes where there's no elevator and you have to climb up this ladder to get to the roof. What is it? Why? This determines on Lee's infected arm. It's cut off, but everything's fine. He just climbs up the ladder with one arm. But if the arm stays on, he passes out again, but on the ladder. So I think if you cut off his arm, you'll be alright for a couple more minutes. He doesn't feel dizzy. If you cut off his arm, he feels dizzy all the time when it comes to situations. While you're climbing up the ladder, you see a walker falling down onto the floor past the characters, and if he does pass out, you lose his arm, etc., etc. You eventually get up to the roof, where they look on the streets full of walkers. In episode 4, it turned out to be empty, but the herd of walkers that were following the train at the end of episode 3 have eventually arrived in Savannah and flooded the city. On one of the sides, you go to a mead where he notices a church bell. Now, if you guys played episode 4, you'll know that the church bell is used to attract walkers away so you can get to safety, get supplies, and head off. Lee had an idea of ringing the bell to attract walkers on one side so they can escape on the other. The only problem is, you have to find a way to get up there. So you have to look all over the roof, where at some point you find a ladder, an extension ladder where you can roll up, and it will eventually attach from the bell to the roof, and the group decides who goes up there to ring the bell. Now, Krista decides to go up, but for the people who have been asking these questions, yes, she is pregnant, so that's confirmed. So hopefully that will stop the questions on if she's pregnant or not. Umi's leg decides to go up because he says his leg's better. If you say Ben, he has to go up, but Kenny beats an asshole to him. Not beats, becomes an asshole to Ben for killing his wife and kid, because let's just face it, Ben just fucks everything up. But Lee does climb up the ladder, and this also determines again where Lee's infected arm. if you cut off the arm, Kenny will make a discussion of letting the one-armed man climb up the ladder, which I think is funny. Two hands, he doesn't say anything. It just tells him to be careful and all that. While you climb up the ladder, the screw does come off, which causes the extension ladder to slowly come down. So you have to do a quick time reaction to jump onto the ledge before the ladder falls down and hits the streets with walkers. So Lee's basically trapped up there until he rings the bell. So while you're up there on the church bell, you can look around and find a way to escape and all that. While you do ring the bell, it attracts the walkers, and there's a bunch of them coming on one side of where the ladder is. So at this point, Lee decides to jump for it. And this is also another quick time reaction. While Lee jumps, you have to try and move the cursor to the what's it called, action button thing, and indicate action, if you want to call it. It's hard to control because while he's jumping, his head moves a lot, so he has to try and grab it. While if Lee does make it, they head off to the other side and move to the fire escape. I think that's chapter 1 done. I think chapter 2 starts when they get back to the house where Kenny fixes on the boat. The scene starts off with Walker just walking towards the hospital, and Lee decides to come up and shoots the Walker in the head, which I think is just hilarious. Then they open the ship door and find out that the boat is missing. Gone. Someone took it. Lee can choose whether Clementine told the guy in the walkie-talkie, or the guy in the walkie-talkie found the boat and took it, or Vernon and his crew. But turns out that when we went inside, they found a note on the shed door. Turns out that Vernon and his gang group have stolen the boat, and saying that they're sorry for leaving them behind, and Clementine. And Kenny gets really pissed off with it. Now, this also comes in when if you save Ben or not. If you save Ben, him and Kenny have this bigger argument, but Kenny yells at Ben saying that Lee should have left him in Crawford. And at this point, it was epic. Ben does in fact stand up to Kenny. He just goes insane at him. When Kenny's talking about catching a duck, saying he left him in Crawford, I think it was the right thing to do, Ben snaps. He snaps at Kenny, tells him to fuck you, and he basically talks about how he didn't get to find his family when it all began. He immediately had to leave town, and he just tells him to give him a break. At this point, Kenny feels sorry for Ben, and he goes to apologize, where a group of herd of walkers come from either side and surrounds the back area of the house. So the group heads inside the house, barricades the back door. This is where Lee takes the leadership. It comes to whether to check front room, see if barricades open, go find weapons, move the furniture, or go upstairs. When he turns to Omid noticed that the front door was open, so he runs straight to the front door to close it. At this point, Lee shouts to the group to head to the front door, help Omid. When Lee goes to help him with the front door, he gets grabbed by Walker from the doggy door. And Lee is just basically there, stomping the living hell out of the doggy door to get the Walker off, and the Walker's arm snaps off. At this point, the group have barricaded the door, asking Lee to cut off the hands, so you basically have to look in the kitchen, and the best point that I would suggest is check the drawer. The only thing I've seen was the drawer, the open drawer, and the cleavage, whatever you guys call it, some kind of butcher cleavage thing. He basically goes to the front door and chops off the Walker's arms, hands, fingers to get the door closed.